everyone, 90s kid Ozzie Madison here. Yes, it has been longer than I planned for the next episode, but I wanted to give my thoughts on the autism-related episodes of PBS shows that recently aired. And of course, to do that, I had to watch them first. I wrote down my initial thoughts each time, and I've taken the time to expand and elaborate on them. Let me just say that initially I had my reservations about all this, considering the track record of certain PBS-originated shows. But this turned out to be surprisingly okay. Let's start with AJ's Extra Superpower from Hero Elementary. Now this was the one I was most nervous about initially because I was a little nervous about how the whole autism as a superpower trope would be handled. But they actually handled it really, really well. But when AJ started explaining autism to Jada, the little girl who has a crush on him, I literally started crying tears of joy. Usually in these sorts of episodes, it's always an adult character explaining it, but here, the autistic character speaks for themselves. And his friends already knew, too! They talk about sensitivities and special interests, which most shows before have only vaguely touched upon. This is truly the best representation I have seen yet. Also, Jada's crush on AJ is so cute and funny. Aww. Next is Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum and I Am Temple Grandin. Now this I do have genuine reservations about. See, you may know that Temple Grandin is an autistic activist, but what you probably don't know is that she supports applied behavior analysis, ABA, which many autistic people consider abuse, and she has no respect for low support needs autistic adults who don't have a job. 'Cause, it's not like they might have additional psychological problems that would keep them out of the workforce. But anyway, unfortunately, she's probably the biggest name in autism activism right now, so PBS went to her. As for the actual episode, I was pleased they used identity-first language. We meet the new autistic kid, Ben, who's probably not going to be seen again after this. And when we meet him, he's looking at a train. Of course, it's always trains. But anyway, kids go back in time, meet young Temple Grandin designing kites, because obviously a kid making slaughterhouses would be a bit too much. Anyway, we learn that it's okay to think and do things differently. Yeah, as long as you're not severely handicapped or living on SSI. It has some good points, but its choice of historical figure ruined it for me. Finally, the Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood episode, Daniel's New Friend Max, and New Friend at the Clock Factory. Max is actually voiced by an autistic actor. A 13-year-old actor, so if he ever appears again, he might need to be recast. Max is only visiting, of course. He's not going to be a permanent cast member like Jody. We get identity-first language again, which is a good sign. The first segment is all about Daniel learning how to play with Max while he's focused on his special interests. I don't think most kids had that trouble with me at that age. I either eagerly joined in the games that looked fun or just read by myself with no one bothering me. But this is good advice for neurotypical kids looking to make friends with an autistic kid. The next segment is Max going to the clock factory for chime time, where we find Max is sensitive to bright lights and loud sounds. This is a very common trait in autistic people, but not me for some reason. Indeed, I have always been drawn to bright colors and loud music. Although really to survive the 90s, you pretty much had to like those things. Max also appears in a segment in another episode called Daniel and Max Play at the Playground, in which we find out he has a sister. Something that would have been nice to know in his intro episode. Anyway, it's fine. Max has a clear ear for music, unlike me. Everyone can play together. I'm sure Fred Rogers would have approved. In summary, this crop of episodes turned out better than I expected. TV producers are still learning what autism really is all about, and the best thing they could do is hire actual autistic people. And hopefully someday we will be more than just very special episode fodder, but will be full-fledged characters and permanent cast members. Well, that's all for today. I better get to work on my Carl and Julia episodes. And just remember, you make each day a special day. You know how. By just your being you.